Hey, are you scared of making a mistake in real estate? Well, join the club. A lot of people are. But hey, this video was designed specifically for you. Hey Daniel, cue in that intro please. Hey, how's it going, friend? Juan Pablo here, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Now I'd like to share with you what we like to discuss on this channel. Number one, personal finance. We always love to discuss credit. We also like to discuss your deaI, personal financial statement, budgeting, all that good stuff. Even stuff about mindset too, because that's important. But in regard to your personal arena, we also like to discuss funding, making sure you have a repeatable source of investment capital so you never have to run dry of funding. And third, and certainly not least, we love to discuss real estate investing, about multi-units and multi-family properties in particular. So again, if you're new, please like, share, and subscribe to this video so that way, if you share it, people within your circle can be abreast of this information and make a positive impact on their lives as well as you. And maybe you can hold each other accountable, forge accountability partnerships, as well as Google, YouTube, the algorithm can do its thing in regard to providing with additional material to get you closer to your goal of financial freedom. So without further ado, let's get into the topic. Okay, I get it. You know, you might be a little scared, a little timid of making a mistake. Because if you're doing something new for the first time, like real estate investing, fear can drop in, right? Because it's uncharted territory. It's unfamiliar territory. And if you're embarking on this journey, especially if you're doing it for the first time, it can seem daunting to the point where it may prevent you from taking action in the first place, just because you're thinking of all the things that could go wrong and having a fear of making a mistake. Okay, so if that's you, I definitely want to share some things with you to help encourage you to take action. Okay, so first thing I'd like to share about this is this. Mistakes are okay as long as you learn from them. Now, my mentor shared that with me, and that's one of our 23 financial freedom principles that we have here at 100% Finance, is that making a mistake is okay as long as you learn from it. Now, some people are afraid of making the first mistakes, but just think about it. Now, Albert Einstein said this, and I'm just going to paraphrase here. And he's a very intelligent guy, if you heard of him, right? But he mentioned that a person who doesn't make mistakes is a person who doesn't try anything new. So if you're trying something new for the first time, let's say real estate investing, then expect to make some mistakes. But make a mistake once because it's okay as long as you learn from it. Because if you made a mistake and let's say it hurt, right, financially, or it cost you a relationship, or it cost you some time, whatever, it was an expense, right? It cost you something, a relationship, time, or money, something of value. It's okay as long as, okay, I learned from the situation, not just I just recorded that memory in my mind, but I truly learned, meaning I actually put a fail-safe in place so that this mistake will not happen again. As a result of this mistake, I was able to itemize things. I was able to create a process or a system, some sort of process in place so this mistake doesn't happen again. Okay, so that's the mindset you gotta have as a real estate investor and as an entrepreneur at all. I mean, as a whole, right? Because it happens to us all. Okay, so I just want to share that with you. We've all made mistakes. One of my favorite quotes is this: every expert was once a beginner. Right? If you take a child, for instance, when they start crawling, they fall. When they start walking, they fall. When they start running, they might bump their leg or what have you. They get injured. They experience the bumps and bruises. However, does a child who experiences a bump say, "Oh well, this is dangerous. Oh wow, this is dangerous. You know what? Let me stop trying to do this. You know what? Let me revert back to what's safe. Let me just lay here in the crib all day long." No. In fact, you will find that person looking ridiculous. Let's say someone did have that mindset, and they're now 45 years old, still sleeping in the crib, waiting for someone to pick them up. Ain't nobody gonna pick your big butt up. Why is that? Because at that point you realize, man, you've been in the game way too long. You should have been able to create some systems or some fail-safes and have the courage to go on. So that's why I say to you, if you're investing in real estate and you're trying to walk or crawl. That could be analogous to you're trying to forge relationships with agents, or you're trying to get money, and let's say you bumped your leg, meaning you got denied for funding, or agent didn't give you a call back, or someone else beat you out of a deal, someone had a better offer than you. Don't cry about it. Don't be upset. Don't let it affect you emotionally. Dust yourself off, learn from that mistake, and keep moving forward. So the other thing I want to share with you, the second thing about mistakes is this. I encourage you to have the bravado and the confidence to take action even at the expense of making a mistake. Right? And why do I say that? Because many people get stuck in analysis paralysis. They want to analyze every single aspect of a deal. Every single aspect, to the point they missed out on it. It's like, you ever heard the expression, shoot first, ask questions later? Well, or, you know, aim and then shoot. While they continue to aim and aim and aim just to make sure they have the right angle, and guess what? The target moves. And they're no longer to hit their shot, right? So you don't want to get stuck in that rut of just analysis paralysis. In fact, I remember I was at some networking event in New York. Shout out to all my New Yorkers who are in those big expensive markets, right, and need to invest out of state, like I did when I lived in the New York City area. But that's a tangent. Let me get back into it. I remember I was at a networking event, and at this networking event, we had one particular gentleman. I'm gonna call him Bob, right, just to protect his identity. And Bob, he was consistent. Always came to the meetups once a month, right? But Bob, when the facilitator, my mentor, would say, "Hey, does anyone have any questions?" Bob will never have a question, but he will always have his hand raised. So why would he have his hand raised if he's not going to ask a question? To make a comment. He's always commenting about something, about the market, about funding, what have you, just basically to share that he's doing a bunch of analysis and that he knows some stuff. But never got a deal under contract. Never did anything in regard to improving his credit, never did anything about actually securing or locking down funding. So one day, Dwayne, the facilitator, said, "Hey, does anyone have any questions?" Bob raised his hand. He said, "Okay, Bob, what you got?" Bob said, "Well, you know, in today's market, you know, hard money is kind of expensive, right? And it's hard money for a reason, because the terms are hard. And being that it's expensive, it's somewhat not good for me to get right now because it's so expensive, you know. And I tried getting a personal mortgage, or I thought about it, but you know, they want to make sure you have a certain credit score, which I'm not at right now. So that's why I thought about hard money, but it's just really expensive right now based upon the market. And also, man, with the market, you know, being in the seller's market, there's really no inventory out there. You know, it's just pretty dry and so forth. So I think the best thing to do, guys, this is Bob speaking to everybody, right? I think the best thing to do, guys, is just to wait until we get into a buyer's market. It's like, dude, what's your question? Dude, what action are you taking? Sure, you're taking some action. You're learning, you know, you're seeing what's going on in the market, which is good. But what are you doing to get above that, beneath it, or around it, get through it? What are you doing to be adaptable, to be able to accomplish your goals? You're just sharing with the group all the things that don't work instead of sharing all the things that can work. You're talking about the problem, not the solution. So Dwayne, at this point, after Bob has been doing this consecutively for many months now, Dwayne was fed up. To hear, he was fed up. And he said, but this, I love the way how he set him up. He said it this way. He said, "Hey Bob, man, you've been coming to this meetup for months, man. You've been consistent." And Bob's like, "Yeah, I have. Ain't I? Wasn't I? Yeah, I have been. Yeah. Thanks for acknowledging that." And he's like, yeah, you know, outside of your consistency, you've been doing some thorough research on funding too, right? You're familiar with the mortgage market, the interest rates, what's going on, lending, whether they're tight right now on lending, or they're loose, hard money, the terms, the interest rate. You've been very astute in learning those things about funding. He's like, "Yeah, I have. Yeah, you know, I do my online research, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I like to see what's going on with funding in the market and all that." And Dwayne's like, "Yeah, speaking of the market, you even know what's going on in the market, whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, or if it's a perfect time to buy, perfect time to sell, what type of property you should aim for, and all that good stuff." He's like, "Yeah, you know, I do my thing, you know, I try my best." And then Dwayne said this. He said, "Now when are you going to do a deal?" Now I don't want to be too loud, right? But I just wanted to show you, test out my acting, you know what I'm saying? I definitely wanted to show you how intense Dwayne became. He was infuriating, whatever the right word is, you can just comment below. He was just highly upset. He was angry. To the point, Bob never came to a meetup ever again. And I'm not saying that Dwayne had the right delivery, right? He definitely buttered him up and then bam, hit him where it hurts. I'm not saying that that was the right thing to do. However, I and other people within that meetup, we were thrown back and said, you know what? I need to tighten up. Because I see a little bit of Bob in myself as well, where I would do a lot of analysis, a lot of paralysis, a lot of thinking things over, a lot of complaining, always identifying the problem, but never identifying the solution, never taking action on the solution. And why? Again, it boils back to not having the confidence, not having the bravado, and trying to mask my fear through copious amounts of analysis. Now the third thing is this, right? Let's say you're afraid of making a mistake, right, in real estate investing or any other venture for that matter. And the reason why could be because you're embarking in this new territory, this new journey, alone, without a map or a guide, like a tour guide. Right, so just imagine if you had a long journey and it's late at night and you can barely see and you're wandering in the wilderness with no map and no guide who's been there before. What's the likelihood of you reaching your final destination? Slim to none, right? So that's analogous towards you having the fear of making a mistake. You know, if you're wandering out wilderness by yourself, you're bound to hit your head with something, experience bumps and bruises, trial and error, you're going to make a mistake. So the reason why you're afraid is because you don't have a map or a blueprint to follow, as well as someone who's been there, done that, to help hold your hand and guide you along that path. Okay, and that could be similar to having a course, right, or a program to follow, a blueprint, a system, and also having a mentor, a coach, someone that can guide you along that path, assuming that that coach is reputable and has been there and done that. Okay, so that's the reason why. So if you're trying to embark upon real estate investing, and let's say you don't have the understanding that mistakes are okay, and you don't learn from it, you don't create a system or a process after making that mistake, and let's say in regard to your mistakes, you do analysis paralysis, so it hinders you from taking action because you lack the confidence and bravado, and let's say you don't want to make a mistake because you don't have a guide, a blueprint, or a system, or a mentor, or a coach to guide you along that path, then guess what? You'll never take action. So that's what I want to encourage you, right? Whenever you're watching this video, independent of the time of year, I always want you to focus on taking action. And don't be like Bob, who's trying to convince himself that, oh, based upon these outside circumstances, the market, funding, and so forth, that he can't control, that he can't take action. You can take action despite your outside circumstances, despite the market conditions. It boils down to you having faith. It boils down to you having taken action. It boils down to you having the right program, the right mentor to help guide you along that path. And I've coined myself the people's mentor. And I have a video below about mentorship. You actually want to learn more about it, but this is the key thing I want to share here. So if you're interested in learning more about real estate investing, about having that those three pillars that I mentioned, as well as having the right mindset, but without doing it alone, having some guidance, a proven system, a blueprint, if you will, then all you have to do, my friend, is just check the link below in the description to learn more. So as always, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.